Good morning people, today I'll be showing you how to install this NextBase dashcam into this Ford Transit. I will be using the NextBase dashcam hardwire kit. I got this from Halfords for I think around the £25 mark. I've also found the Amazon links, I'll put that in the description below. And for this I will be using these, I would call them piggyback fuses. These also do come in the kit. There are 3 variants, but only one will fit on this van, which I believe is this one, and it is called a micro 2 fuse, I believe is what it's called. Again, I'll put a link in the description below to everything. So I'm going to be going to the fuse board that is underneath the dashboard. There is another fuse board inside the bonnet. I'll show you the pair of them because obviously this is just how I'm going to do it. There are other methods that you could hardwire this in. You could splice a wire. I believe they've also got an OBD kit as well. Never seen that before, I think that's pretty cool. But I'm going to be going to the fuse board in here and I'll show you how I do it. So let's crack on. I'm not going to use the bonnet fuse board, but I will just quickly show you. So this is the fuse box. You see these tabs? Try to remember how these tabs work because they are inside the same as well. So if we lift this up, there is your front fuse board. Okay, so I'm going to clip that back on, bring you back around the front to show you the one that we're going to be using in this video. So firstly, we're just going to pop out the glove box. There is 2 tabs up here. All you need to do is push the 2 tabs out of the way and lower the glove box out of the way. Then all it is just 2 little or 3 hinges, and you can just move it out of the way. And they are these tabs. So you need to do is just move this tab and this tab up as you lower the glove box. Obviously you need 2 hands to do it usually. So in Ford's wiseness, they've decided to put the fuse board the wrong way around, so it's actually facing that way. I'm guessing there's an actual reason for it, because if you look here, you'd never think there was one. So what you do, you see this plug up here, just pop it forward, it's just on a little hook, and then just move it slightly out of the way. And as I said around the front, you have got these tabs on the side of this box. You just need to move these tabs out of the way with your finger and lift it, because you see up top here, these are hinges, so you need to pop these tabs and lift it up. It's going to be quite difficult for me to show you from here. So if we pop all these tabs off, look, it might just be hard to see, but they are claws. See, that's a claw, so it hooks over. So once you pop all those tabs, you have to lift it up and backwards. And here you will see the problem. You can't actually get it out of here as such. This is the best this is the best view you're going to get. So if I pull the camera out, see that you see all your fuses there. So this is the fuse board, but it is very awkward to get to. So what I've done, just to give myself a little bit of flexibility, you have got these, I think there's 7mm nuts in here. There's one there, and then this trim piece, I'll put a snippet in afterwards. This just yoinks off. It's nice and easy. And there's 2 more in there. So what this does, this just allows just a little bit of flex on there. You're still not going to get it out, but it does just allow you just a little bit more space. So look, now we've got a slightly better view of the fuses. I'll also put the link for this website here. This has all the fuse board location and then obviously what each fuse does. So look, under hood fuse box, I know it's the American term. So that is the fuse board under the bonnet. Obviously we don't want that one. We want the interior fuse box. So this is the one we want. The only problem is that because it's upside down on there, this is the correct way around for this. So look, I've got 3 40-amp fuses in this bottom right corner. Then if I bring the camera over, and I'm blocking the light, but there are my 3 40-amp fuses there. If any of this information is wrong, by the way, obviously let me know, and if it is wrong, I do apologize. Okay, but I believe it's right, but I do apologize. This is just a box, by the way. It's one of the children's. It's just to lift the camera up, that's why it's there. So all we're really going to do from here is install one of these piggyback fuses. Now, how these work, this fuse, let's say this is inside your fuse board, yeah? You are going to remove this, and then you will then fit this one in its place. Okay, so but then you may be thinking, oh, but then the circuit's not protected. Right, what it does, it separates 2 systems. So one of them will be the fuse for whatever you've taken out, and then the other one will be for your dash cam. So the best way I can try to explain that is using this multimeter. Look, it will, can you hear the buzz? That means the circuit's complete. So look, if I put this here and then I put it over here, it doesn't beep because there's no fuse in it. So if I then put the fuse inside the top one, which is where our dash cam is going to be with this kit, it is in the top one. I would recommend you check this yourself. Look, this will now buzz, which means that this is going to be your dash cam. This will be its circuit. Because if I put the fuse in the bottom one, look, and I push it in, for some reason that's really tight. I don't know why that's so tight. There we go. and I do the same thing again, it's not going to buzz, because that is not on the dash cam. That is now not on the dash cam circuit. It's just going to come straight back out of here. Okay, so with this one, the top fuse is the one for the dash cam, and the bottom fuse is going to be for whatever the fuse is in your car, whatever that may be, whatever you choose to do. All right, so that is just a general gist of how this actually works. So obviously, if you're doing this on your own van, you can pick whatever fuse you want, but just something that you should always consider: don't take it from somewhere that is important. And by that I mean, so like if you go through here, right, that one says fuel pump. All right, this is an electric van, but you don't want to take it from that, because if you do something wrong or the fuse pops or something like that, you don't want to lose your fuel pump, therefore you're not moving. I mean, there's also like silly ones on here as well, so you got to think about, look, like wiper motor, don't nick it off the wiper motor either, because if it does go pop and you pop the fuse for the wiper motor, the wipers aren't going to work. It might be hammering it down with rain and you're stuck. So the only other thing I would say is try and use a low amp fuse. I know these are 40 amps, I know you wouldn't be able to get it in there anyway, but don't steal it off one of the big power output ones. Try and steal it off as like a low amperage one. So like this one, this is the one that I'm going to be in. It is the mirror display. Remember, this is this way around, and I believe this is the mirror display up there if you had a reverse camera up there. This van doesn't have that. The reverse camera is actually inside this screen. So I believe I'm all good. I've done the piggyback fuse. The only other thing I think with the mirrors is my my wing mirrors. They're all good, so I believe it is for that. Obviously, if I'm wrong, I do apologise. And obviously another method that if you didn't want to use a piggyback fuse, you could literally put like a spade connector inside one of these, and then put an inline fuse in it. You could also do it like that, but yeah, so this is the fuse that I'm going to be doing, remember, because it's this way around. Also some spare fuses in here as well, some spare slots and stuff like that, but obviously you would need to check for power. What I mean by that is you don't want the van to be switched off, but then that is a constant live, so therefore it will kill your battery. This is on ignition live, so when you turn on the ignition, this fuse board does go live. So basically you should be all right with anything in there. Obviously I would double check that, but with this one I know that when I turn off the ignition, the power is gone from that fuse. So that is why I'm going to be using that fuse for this video. And you don't necessarily have to take out those 10mm bolts, but look, it just gives you a little bit more flex and you don't have to worry about breaking it. Usually there is like a fuse puller in these, but obviously you're not going to get your fingers in there, so I've got a pair of these hook over pliers, and I know that the fuse I want is just here. So if I squeeze that, I know I'm doing this cat-handed because I'm blocking the camera, but there we go. I pulled out the fuse. I can maybe now show you. It was the fuse that was in front of this blue one, and then slightly to the left. I'll bring the camera in actually a little bit more, as you just haven't got a lot of space in there. There's probably an easy method to actually take this out. You might have to take off this trim down here, but anyway, this is what I'm doing. Now the dash cam does use a 2 amp fuse as a bit of a safety precaution on the circuit, but that 5 amp fuse that we've just pulled out is now going to go into here. It's a very tight fit, so now all we're going to do is put this back in. I think because of the shape of this, it needs to go in this way around. So there we go, that is now plugged in to where we want. So bring this round. Might be a bit awkward to see on camera, but it is a big old block on there. But you see what I mean? Now it sits a bit proud. Hopefully it should still hook onto there and close properly. So that is the live sorted. All we need to do is plug in this bullet connector into it. But obviously to complete the circuit, we need to find an earth point. And the good news is that's actually very, very easy on this. So we come up here and we look up. See that bolt there? So we're going to loosen that off a little bit. I'm just going to slide that inside there, and then that should be our earth. It is just a 10mm socket, and all you're going to do is put it on there. You haven't even got to take this off. All you need to do is crack it off and loosen it. And when you do, all you need to do is slide that behind it. Is that washer move? I'd rather put it in between the washer and the bolt rather than the other way around. Looks like it's going to go behind it. But look, as long as you've got a good earth connection, it should be fine. So look, I'm going to hold that in place. I'm going to grab that, and then I can tighten it back up again without smashing into my torch. So there we go. You haven't got to over tighten it or anything like that. The only thing I do have to check is that when the glove box is back in place, I might need to just hide this cable in a bit nicer, because obviously you don't want it to hit, but I should be alright. I can maybe cable tie it around here and stuff like that. So the earth is hooked up. All we need to do is plug in the live bullet connector, and with this system, this plugs into this adapter, and then the actual charging mechanism for the camera is like a magnet. It's actually quite a good system. So you just whack it on like that, it will now charge up and be used like that, and then when you're done with it, you don't have to like, you just pull it apart. It's a really good system. It's like, look, it's all connected up, the camera's not on. That is a good thing because the van is switched off, so therefore it's not going to kill the battery. So I'll turn on the ignition and hopefully it kicks in. Back on the ignition, got a lovely little blue light on there, and hopefully it should all kick in. I mean, I have got it upside down, but there we go. This is now working, and I believe with this camera, when you then turn off the ignition, the camera switches off. So if I turn it off, there we go, it switches off. So there we go, the camera is now hardwired into the van. Now all we need to do is obviously figure out our solution to get it up to where we want. If you want to have it hanging from here over there, that's fully up to you. I'm probably going to hang it around about here somewhere. And the good news is, up here, this is literally just, there's a space behind there, so you should be able just to tuck that in. The only thing you have to be aware of is that the airbag on this is actually up here, so it shouldn't be a problem just sliding it up there. Just be careful. So let's do that. To be fair, what is quite good, on the harness you have got an indicator on here. So look, because the blue light is solid, it's telling you that the input and output is all good, so you haven't got anything to worry about. And then if I then disconnect the dash cam, so if I literally just pull it off, too much wiring. Look, the little blue light on it is flashing because there's a problem. So look, so it's quite good. So if you do think you haven't done it right or something before you put everything back, you can use that and it will help you out. Okay, so my solution to run this up, I'm going to put it inside this bit of rubber here. I'm going to come up along here, and then look, there is a little bit of movement in there. I can then run the cable in there, up along here, and then down and around here to wherever I feel like. I'm not going to show me sticking it, I don't think, because that's personal preference of what you want. But look, so to take off this bit of trim, look, I've already kind of pulled it off for you. Literally just grab it and give it a good pull. It's only these little tabs on there, that's all you got to worry about. So what I'm going to do, you don't want to go through here, because I looked at that first and I was like, ah, that's a good idea, I'm going to pop it through there. But you can't pop it through there because then the plastic trim sits on it. What you can do, there's a small gap behind there, so if I run it through, look, if we come around here, there's a small gap right in there. It's really hard to do this, like, look, just in there. Sorry if you didn't see it, but look, that is now behind the plastic trim. Look, that's behind it. So now I can run this up and along here, and obviously to where I want. So obviously you want to do this bit before you put all of this away, because then when you're done, you've got to tidy up all your cables. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this all up and round to where I want it. It's probably going to be sat around here somewhere. So I've just popped this. Look, you've only got to put it down with your fingers. And look, because of that gap, look at the cable. Look, you can roll that cable up into the top. It's pretty cool, isn't it? If you just put some tape up there or just put something to stop it. But look, it's actually quite easy to run it up and along here. So we can have the same, same sort of problem when I come. Struggle to do this with one hand, but look, you can just get your finger. Look at that, look at that, straight down and into there. So then obviously I'm gonna do the same thing in this gap here. I'm trying to do this with one finger. Look, I can then work my way all the way down here. I didn't want to do this with one hand, in all fairness. Look, fun, you need two hands. Look, it goes round here, and then obviously down here, through this gap here, and then obviously into there. So I'm going to just do that. It's just a bit difficult to record it. So before you stick your camera down, make sure you are happy with your view, and I'm quite happy with that. So look, that's what I've done. I've just stolen a tiny bit from in there. Obviously it's gone up here really well, actually. That's quite good. And then it kind of went diagonal, actually, so it actually done me a favour. And then after a bit of rejigging and stuff like that, I've actually got that in there quite well without noticing. Sorry. So all I'm going to do is pull all this cable through this gap. Look at that, got caught down there. Make sure it doesn't get caught on anything. So that is going to sit behind a bit of trim. It's going to pop back on. I'm doing this with one hand, which is obviously very difficult. Just like that. And obviously once it's in position, look, it's not in yet, just push it forward, you'll hear the click. Ready? Look, there you go. Now it's nice and flush, and this is all good. And the cable behind isn't snagged because it's nice and loose. So annoyingly, in clipping back on the fuse box, one of the problems that I thought would happen has happened, and that is because the piggyback fuse sits proud of the fuse board, it's not actually allowing me to lock it. It's allowing me to put the hooks up on the top, but when I push it back, it's not locked. To be fair, the hooks on their own hold that really, like, that's not me, I'm not under exaggerating that or anything like that. It's still solid, it's not going to fall off or anything like that. If this was outside the car, you'd be a bit, you know, you'd be concerned to say, oh, you could get water in there, but at the end of the day, it's under the glove box. It's not 100%, but look, I'm more than happy with that. That should be absolutely fine, and I'm sweet with that. So let me tidy up all this wiring. So because this was 5 meters worth, so that's why there's so much of it. So I've got some cable ties and some electrical tape. We'll just tidy it up and get it out of the way. So the fuse board is back on, the wiring is tidied, and I'm going to put back all the 10mm bolts that I put back. I said I'd take that trim back off to put the bolts back in. So all the screws are back in, the trim piece is on, the rubber trim is back, and then all you got last to do is just put the glove box back. Literally hooks in its 3 places, make sure it's sitting right, and you don't actually have to do anything. It sounds like you're going to break it, but it's not. Literally just push it straight through, and there you go. That is your glove box now pushed back in. Trim pieces are all good. I might have popped it out, but there you go. So there we go. That is the dash cam hard wired in. I've still got to stick it down up there, but there we go. So now when we get in, I still haven't stuck it yet. I'm just indecisive, I don't really know where to stick it, but when I now flick on the ignition and then start it up, there we go, it lights up and we're ready to go. So it's all hardwired in. I think it's quite tidy. Look, that is obviously, you know, there's going to be better methods to do it, but it's nice easy DIY to do at home. It doesn't require, I don't think it requires any special tools, you know, a couple, what was it, a 7mm and a 10mm, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but no, I think you should be able to do this on your driveway, nice and easy. There's probably other methods, say splicing it, or the OBD way might be a better method, but this method certainly does work. It's designed to turn off, and then obviously when I turn off the van, this hasn't been charged in a while, so the battery on it like dies. It will come up with a low warning, but I think it usually stays running for about a minute. See, like, look, it's switched off. It's only switched off because it is low charge, because I haven't used it in so long. So there you go. That is how you will fit a dash cam inside your Ford Transit using a piggyback fuse. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and you found it useful, and thanks for watching.